yours?
Yes.
Who's the fifth crew member?
Unknown.
Welcome once again, my fellow manipulators of Digital Fate. I'm Richie, this is Capricorn, and today I have another deck tech straight out of Aether Drift Early Access. This one's called Wax Hearts, and this is kind of a combo deck utilizing the new Coalstoke Gearhulk and some clone effects with some spice on top that you don't want to miss. Before we dive into the deck, make sure you like the video. It helps me get the video out to so many more people. Also subscribe if you're new, because I have a ton of crazy deck techs on the way from Early Access and beyond. Also catch me live Monday through Friday over on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/QuarantineCapricorn, because if I'm alive and I'm breathing, I'm there and I'm streaming. Tune in on Twitch for my launch event on Tuesday for Aether Drift launching to the public. I'll be doing a 12-hour marathon stream. We're starting with Sealed, then doing a draft, spending the second half of the stream brewing for Standard with everything that we learned during Early Access. So if you're looking to take the next step as far as what's going to work on the ranked ladder, I think we got a head start over there. So check out that stream, and let's dive into this deck. Alright, so this deck's pretty rad. This is a Coalstoke Gearhulk combo deck, but it's very, very controlling. It's kind of a hybrid control deck too, and it revolves around Coalstoke Gearhulk, a 5-mana 5/4 artifact creature construct with Menace and Death Touch in the colors of Rakdos. Its ability is what we're focused on. When it enters, you put target creature card with mana value 4 or less from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control with a finality counter on it. It gains Menace, Death Touch, and Haste, and at the beginning of your next end step, you have to exile that creature. Now, normally this ability isn't super good because the creature doesn't last forever. It can only grab something with mana value 4. It can grab something out of the opponent's graveyard if you need to, but a lot of times that's hit or miss. But we found a way to make Coalstoke Gearhulk super good, and that's by bringing clones back from the graveyard. So we're using Waxen Shapethief, which is a brand new shapeshifter, 0/0 with flash for 1 blue and 3. You may have it enter as a copy of an artifact or a creature you control, and it has cycling for 2. So even if we don't have a way of getting this into our graveyard, we can just cycle this for 2 and get it in there. And then it's sitting there waiting to be picked up by the Coalstoke Gearhulk. So if we play the Gearhulk with the Shapethief in the graveyard, we bring the Shapethief back, copy the Gearhulk. Now we have another Gearhulk, except it has haste and can swing in, and its enters the battlefield ability triggers again, and we get to do it again. So if we have more Waxen Shapethiefs in the graveyard, we get to keep going, and we chain them all together until every single one comes out of the graveyard as a copy of the Coalstoke Gearhulk. In similar fashion, we have 4 copies of Visage Bandit, another 4-mana 2/2 that can enter as a copy of any creature you control, and if we want, we can also plot it for 1 blue and 2. We're not doing that. We're trying to discard it into the graveyard or self-mill it into the graveyard to get it set up for the Coalstoke Gearhulk. But it is worth noting that if we top deck one of these later in the game and we already have a Coalstoke out, we could restart the chain theoretically by just playing a clone on the Coalstoke that's already out, and then start to grab stuff out of the graveyard again. It is worth noting that the finality counters on the things that it pulls out means they won't go back to the graveyard afterwards, so you do kind of have to completely restock your graveyard again to do that, but it is still another use, another way we can get this thing to pop off if it doesn't win all in one burst right away. Now, what else are we doing? When we get to the end of our chains and we've pulled our last clone out, we can still be a copy of the Gearhulk. We don't have any other clones to find, but we do have a really good target to just add sugar on top. This is Bloodletter of Aclazotz. This is a 4-mana creature, 2/4 flyer. If an opponent would lose life during your turn, they lose twice that much life instead. So, if we Gearhulk into a clone, into a clone, into a Bloodletter, we're swinging with 2 5-power menace creatures right away, and a 2-power flyer, and we double our damage. So if they only have 1 blocker out, that's 20 damage right there. If we've already done damage to them ahead of time, we might not even need to hit with everything to kill them, and if we manage to get a 3rd clone or even a 4th clone, they're absolutely gonna fry. It is awesome. We can also just kind of play the Bloodletter on curve too and have it sit there and wait for us to eventually go off and maybe be a blocker. The Bloodletter is just great. And even if we don't get our Coalstoke Gearhulk, we can have a Bloodletter out on the battlefield and have another usage for our clone cards by just playing a clone to make a clone of a Bloodletter so that we quadruple our damage instead of double, and we can just win that way. So that's a really cool backup win condition. But we're going to start at the bottom of the curve and talk about how we get there. First of all, we've got 4 copies of Chart a Course. 2 mana, draw 2 cards, discard a card. We get to dig into our deck, make sure we're discarding the thing that we specifically want in the graveyard, which is awesome. We're also running 4 copies of Overlord of the Balemurk. We're going to play it for 2. We're going to mill 4, and then get to grab something that we milled that is a creature or a planeswalker, put it in our hand. Most of the time, we're going to try to grab that Gearhulk if we come across one. We want to try to keep those clones in the graveyard if we can. We're also running 4 copies of another new card called Quag Feast. 2 mana for a sorcery, you choose a creature, planeswalker, or vehicle. You mill 2 cards, and then destroy the chosen permanent if its mana value is less than or equal to the number of cards in your graveyard. Now, even if you have nothing in your graveyard yet, on turn 2, you can mill 2 and kill a 2-drop. So it's still really good on curve. In fact, it's one of the only ways that we can kill whatever we need to kill on turn 2 without stopping our mill plan, still continuing to put stuff in the graveyard. There aren't a lot of cards that can do that. Normally you have to choose one or the other. Either you're playing the things that are milling you to try and fill up your graveyard and turn on your synergies, or you're stopping what you're doing to use removal on your opponent's stuff because it's going to run you over if you don't. Quag Feast, you just get to do both at the same time and you don't have to choose. So I think it's really awesome, and it scales. Since we're putting so much stuff into our graveyard in this deck, it's always going to be able to hit pretty much whatever we want unless our opponent exiles our entire graveyard, which is possible, but I haven't seen a lot of it. We've also got 4 copies of Wail of the Forgotten. We get to Descendate super easy with this. So if it's the early game and we're not, we can still use it to like tempo play, bounce their permanent if we need to, or make them discard a card, or just look at the top 3 cards of our library because we get to put 2 of them in our graveyard, fuel the synergies we're trying to fuel anyway, but we also get to take one of those cards and put them into our hand, and it's not limited to a certain card type like with the Overlord of the Balemurk, which is really, really awesome. But man, if we get to Descend 8, which again, super easy to do in this deck, getting to do all 3 of those at the same time feels so, so good. In our 3-drop slot, we're running 3 Kioras. This is going to dig 2 more cards and let us discard 2. So it's contributing to the synergies that we're trying to build up anyway. But it's also an alternate target for the end of our clone chain. If we don't have a Bloodletter to hit, we can grab a Kiora, and then even though the Kiora is going to get exiled at the end of turn because of the Coalstoke's ability, the 8/8 that it makes with its Threshold ability will not. It will stick around forever, and that's pretty amazing. But a lot of times we can just play this on curve as our 3-drop, and by the time we swing on turn 4, actually have Threshold and get the 8/8 that early. And then while they're busy trying to deal with our board, they don't see it coming that we're just building up our graveyard and about to go ham with the Coalstoke Gearhulk. It's super awesome. We've also got just 1 copy of Liliana of the Veil. This is the last card in the deck. She's really, really good. She's a little bit of supplemental removal on turn 3 if you need it. Make them sack a creature, help hold off against aggro, that sort of thing. But she also has that uptick that each player discards a card. So it's a way to get our cards that we want in the graveyard into the graveyard without having less value than our opponent, because we're making our opponent discard in the process as well. In addition to that, we have the mana base. We're running all of the Surveil lands and all of the Verges, including the new ones, and that's it. We want to run Surveil lands to fill up our graveyard anyway, and if we're gonna run the Surveil lands, the Verges are basically free ways of having untapped lands that we don't have to spend any life on, so it's just a perfect fit. I love that we have all of them now. It's amazing. The deck's crazy. The games were nuts. I'm gonna shut up. Let's check them out. We're going to keep this. It is a very slow hand, but I think it's okay. We'll start with the Undercity Sewers. I want the land, actually, so I can play Kiora on 3 and still play Chart a Course on 2. That's a lot of little boys. That's a lot of little boys. Goodbye, Bloodletter. Yeah, smash in. All's fair in love and war. Could I please have a clone, sir? Could you give me a clone? That is not a clone. I'll dump some of you. Black and red. We should play the Raucous Theater. Alright, smashing with the Basilisk Collar. Interesting choice. I mean, we just won't block. That's fine. I think we want to play something this turn, yeah?
Enough with the mysteries. I've come for answers.
We're just gonna make life difficult for our friend. We're not gonna swing if we can't make the 8/8. We'll hold it back as a blocker. I would really like a clone in the yard. That would be wonderful. Next turn, I think we're just hard casting a Bloodletter. Blue. Sure. That's fine. Well, there's a Visage Bandit. Good old Visage Bandit. Dump you. I guess we just like discard the Visage Bandit and don't even play anything this turn so that we can attack and make an 8/8. Alright, so you lose your Market Backwalker. It's not the worst ever. We've got an 8/8. We Coalstoke Gearhulk. We get a copy. And we get a Bloodletter. We swing in for 5, 6, 7, 14. If he doesn't have a blocker for the 8/8, he's going to be in big trouble. Big trouble. If one of the top 2 cards of our deck is a clone, then we're looking really good. Oh, Reliquary. What's he gonna go after? Okay, goes after the 8/8. It is what it is. Not a whole lot you can do there, buddy.
You chose the wrong day to cross me.
Quag Feast. We could play a Bloodletter. Make him sack something. Let's see what he sacrifices.
Haven't you ever heard of personal space?
I'm so tempted to just jam it, but I don't think it's right. Screw it. We're going for it. We're going for it, boys. It's 14. Puts him at 5. If we had one more clone, he would have been dead. We got really unlucky. We got a lot of Bloodletters and Kioras. Barely any clones. Which is funny because if you put the Bloodletters and Kioras together, we have a total of 7 in the deck. We have 8 clones. But he can't attack unless he can kill the Coalstoke. Because we've got Menace. Really? You know this has Menace, right? Okay. Yeah, you get it. You gain some life.
Luck favors the foolish, after all.
You're about to have a very bad day, though. You had a bad day. Visage Bandit. Look at that. Waxen Shapethief. Look at that. Bloodletter. Look at that. I'm sorry, friend. You be dead. You be very dead. You know, outside of all the tap lands, this is actually a pretty decent hand. I think we're going to try and keep it and hope that we can find an untapped land with the Surveil. Nope, just another tap one. No, thank you. Sleep Cursed Fairy. Does have Ward. Hey, an untapped land. Do we have to Quag Feast something? The Fauna Shaman. I'm gonna go with yes. Shapethief is done. Quag Feast. Get out of here. Alright, we've got a Waxen Shapethief. We've got a 4th land. We can Balemurk and Quag Feast next turn. We're actually super close to pulling this off. We need to find another land, which is going to be a little tricky. But other than that, start with the Balemurk. Can we just decline? We'll just decline. And then we'll do this. And then we'll try to win next turn. He needs to keep 2 mana held up, though. And if he does, we'll just Quag Feast the fungus instead. And wait 1 more turn. Do it. Drawing a card, huh? Alright, well, we've got Coalstoke every turn. Let's see what he can do. Draw. Discard. Seed of Hope. Ends up milling a Seed of Hope. That's rough. That's some bad luck. Let's see what we can do. Bandit. 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 Do we want to take one of his things? We could fear of missing out. Wait, is that for our graveyard or his? We've got sorcery, land, creature, enchantment. So if we grabbed a fear of missing out, well, we don't have vigilance. I think the Bloodletter is still better. Yeah, that's 34 damage. That gets it done. Alright. This looks really good. We'll keep it. We're up against Nunu again. Theater. We'll keep the land. We might end up being desperate for land. Balemurk. Hit the Coalstoke. Nice. So if we draw a 3-drop, we'll play the Verge. There we go. Yes. You and you. The Waxen Shapethiefs can be cycled, so it's better to discard the things we want in the yard that can't be cycled. We are 2 mana away. We can play the tapped land next turn. If he makes a treasure, we don't block. Actually, we might not block anyway. Because we are going to attack with Kiora. Oh, it figures. Oh, that's so bad. It's okay though. It's okay though. We got our 8/8. I really didn't want to hit a charter course into the yard. Do we just play the Coalstoke? 2 clones and a Bloodletter? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Monument. Not gonna matter. Not going to matter. We have all 4 of them. Dude, insane. Good night. -29. Holy moly. Yeah, this looks pretty good. We're gonna keep this. We theater on 1. We have our choice of either Balemurk or Charter Course on 2. We'll dump the Coalstoke because it's what we want to get back with the Balemurk. So we'd rather dig another 5 cards, draw, and then mill 4. Better to save the charter courses for when we have things that we want in the yard in our hand. Gearhulk's in our hand. Next turn we can Kiora or Liliana, whatever we need. I think Liliana might be better. Just shut down his Fauna Shaman, slow him down.
Happy to help, but
Kiora could have been nuts, because it almost definitely would have been attacking next turn and making an 8/8. But because we know what we have our land drop next turn, I actually think it's just better to do it this way. Redshift, Rocketeer Chief. Fungus. Charter Course. Dump. Something. each discard one. Which means he's probably attacking Liliana. But that's fine. We get to turn on Wail next turn, which is going to be nuts. Absolutely nuts. Chart a course, discard a permanent. Wail's Descend 8 is turned on. Untap ability or the tutor ability?
This isn't how things were supposed to go.
He needs to hold up the ability to destroy my Gearhulk in response. All of them. Target a non-land permanent. Target an opponent. Give me a land. Thank you. We are very close to winning this. We got 2, I believe. 2 clones in the yard. A Waxen Shapethief and a Visage Bandit. And we've got Kiora that we can also get back. Can also just take his stuff if we want. Fauna Shaman. I'll fauna for you. He's gonna eat something, isn't he? Go ahead and eat it. It's fine, I see it coming. We've got another one. And we got a Balemurk ready to go. So I think we can just swing in and get the job done regardless. We shall see. What did you eat? A Fauna Shaman? You let us keep our Visage Bandit? Generating an awful lot of mana to just put all of the permanents from your hand into play, I guess? He generates infinite mana, but he doesn't have infinite cards. Well, he killed us one turn before we were going to kill him. So it was kind of anyone's game. Alright, we're going to keep this. We can Thundering Falls on 1. We can Quag Feast on 2 to kill something. We probably want to keep all the Quag Feasts. If we don't mill this one, we get to mill 2 more by casting it. That's sort of my, you know, my justification to myself. Technically 25 hours. They opened up the server an hour early and just didn't allow matchmaking yet, so that we would have some extra time to build and import decks, which was very nice. So well, now we're gonna Quag Feast. We're gonna Milly Dilly. I don't know what that is. I'm tired, and that's what comes out of my mouth when I'm tired. It is very long. It is very long, 𝐀𝐫𝐞𝐧𝐚. We must do killing. I think it might be better to actually play the Bloodletter, though, and force him to use removal on it and slow him down that way, and save our Quag Feast and Wail for later. We do want the Bloodletter in the yard eventually. So if it can sit there and make it harder for him to deal damage and then eventually end up in the yard, that seems pretty good. Could just Quag Feast. I guess we'll just play another Bloodletter. Because why not? Maybe we just win with Bloodletters. That's like the alternate win condition of this deck. Just copy Bloodletters all day. Seems fine to me. There's another Mischievous Mystic. I'm gonna make a Fairy creature token. What a card. Alright, now we just need to find... Need to find some gas, man. I'm getting like really greedy with these whales. I don't know if that's right to do. Alright, he has to block. Because it's 16 damage coming through. Alright, we're getting close. A lot of cards in our graveyard, we just don't have enough permanents. Which... our permanent density in this deck is very high. So we have gotten kind of unlucky on that front. To hit like some of the only non-permanents in the deck. You can hit me for 11. That's not nothing. Got nothing in the air. Oh wait, these ones don't have... These ones have summoning sickness. So I guess he can't hit me for that much. Yeah, it's just game over with Bloodletter. That's actually kind of hilarious. Just alternate win condition. Just negative 28. I guess. Thanks so much for checking out my channel. I'd like to give a huge shout out to all of my patrons over at Patreon. Without you guys, this channel would not be possible, so honestly, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your contributions. If you haven't yet, like and subscribe. The more likes we get and the quicker we get them, the bigger this channel will grow and the faster it will grow. I'd love nothing more than this channel to become something very special for you guys, but it's entirely up to you how fast that happens. Also, if you'd like more deck text, that's somewhere over there. And if you'd like to see what else the channel's been up to lately, that's somewhere up that way. Also, subscribe, circle below, do all the things.